Thanks for tuning in. If you like old trains, please subscribe. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about Frank Ellison's Delta lines. Frank Ellison was down in New Orleans, an avid train enthusiast and modeler. Came from the theatrical world, so he knew how to do staging. And he put life into his trains and his layouts. It was all about running and camaraderie with other people. And making the trains actually go from point A to point B with switching and timetables and scale time, not going around in circles like I do. But anyhow, here is one of Frank Ellison's Heinz Mikados. This is a post-war engine, first came out at the end of 1946. There were two of these on Delta lines. And we're pulling now a full string of cars. These are JC, some JC passenger cars here. These are just fiber side, wood top, wood end, wood bottom. Pretty simple. This one's a little leg up. It's hand painted here. And the combine here is another JC car, again hand painted. These were recently discovered in a stash that was unknown until recently when it was unearthed. Here's a wonderful article in O-Gauge Railroading where you have Frank Ellison here, and he sold the layout to Dr. Sachs. And it was kind of vague on dates and times on all that, so this latest stash of items helped clarify the additional items. Dr. Sachs died in the end of 1991, and in 1992 there was an auction at Mauer's, and a good deal of what we thought was Delta lines, or the remaining Delta lines, was sold at auction. So many of these pieces back here were all acquired, many by Fred Dull, or he acquired from other people, and he was able to put back together basically Raymondale. But there were some pieces missing from the original, like manila rope here, that backdrop back there, and L's bells here. So these pieces went their separate direction back in 1991 when Dr. Sachs went to the NRA convention and took a whole truckload of things to sell off, and unfortunately, sales didn't go very well, so he sold a whole pile to Palmer Lundblom. And in that pile that he sold them are all these passenger cars. So this is a pretty incredible stash of passenger cars. What we learned from the passenger cars, they're all found with no trucks at all, but they all have dummy couplers, which are original. So dummy couplers were used on Delta lines. Frank Ellison did not really concentrate on the greatness of the trains. It was mostly the running was his thing. So the trains are really not that outstanding in the sense that, you know, the rare exotic. The last two cars here are pretty nice. These are aluminum-sided Alexander cars. So you have cast aluminum sides, wood roofs, wood bottoms, hand-lettered, quite nice. And this back car here is quite special, Lady Nell. That's named after Nellie, Frank Ellison's wife, who passed away in 1956, or 55, which Frank took it quite hard, and so about a year and a half later, he sold the house and started taking apart the layout. So these were all wrapped up in 1962 newspaper, and never really been unpacked since then. So that kind of spearheads the date when Dr. Sachs probably purchased Delta lines. It was in 62. So the items went to Boston. There was some damage along the way on the trip up to Boston. Then he went down to Florida, and then many of the items ultimately went to the auction at Mauer, but a large stash did go to New York. So like this collection of buildings recently was surfaced. The coal tipple back there. A good deal of Fillmore still exists. some Agena and Louise Vista exists, and additional pieces of Donaldson has been found. So now, since I have a hard time expanding the walls of the basement, I'll have to move things around, see if I can get everything to make some sense. So thank you very much for watching. We'll be doing more work on delta lines and getting it together, hopefully. And we'll have some additional videos with some of the other pieces down the road. Till then, appreciate you watching. Thank you.